Alrighty, welcome back. Let's take a look at Chapter 7, which is dealing with new product planning and development. This is the real opportunity because companies are trying to stay in the eyes of the public and also looking at opportunities out there. And so one thing I want to demystify the idea of new product development. It's not like you have to have rocket scientists or super high college educations to be able to design a new product or a service. But actually, essentially what we're trying to do is take a look at products out there. And there are two strategies essentially, is to come out with a new product or just modify a product that exists today with a new features and or benefits. So some of the strategies are to have a new, you might call it new to the world. This is something that's brand new. Now you might say that the Apple iPhone was something like that, or the Apple iPad. Those are new to the world. And they're not just extensions or slight modifications of what already exists. Now the other thing is you may have a new category of products. So someone may be having, let's say, food products or beverages, and then they may get into a new category of chips, or where car manufacturers may be making cars, and they get into the industry of making batteries, which ultimately support the car. The other thing, some strategies in new product development is an addition to the product line. Now, if you look at Procter & Gamble, they have a lot of the household detergents, okay? And these are known worldwide. And what they've done essentially is identified market segments and have a unique soap for them. So for example, if you take Tide, they have about 36% of the households in the United States. But there's also a soap called Dreft. Now most of you may not have even heard about Dreft, but Dreft is a soap, household detergent for your laundry that is used when you have infants in the house, so let's say under 2 years old, because it really it's softer on the kids. There's not as much residue back on the clothing that doesn't get washed out, and so it's better for kids. It keeps the clothes much softer. But once you get to 1 or 2, you don't need that anymore, or it's not as valued, and so they get into other soaps, so like Tide, Bold, Surf, Breeze. These are all other brands of soap, but are all within the category of household detergents that Procter & Gamble has. The other thing you might come into is product improvements. These are where people are looking at making something, look at the features that they have and say, well, we can make it faster or we can make it lighter. So you just change a little bit of an improvement. But you might be asking now, well, when do we get into product development, new product development? That should be an ongoing process, and everybody in the company should be involved in there. Looking outside and listening to customer service or listening to customers, watching what the competition's doing, and saying, oh, we can do that better or we can do it quicker. And so if there is people that you can get new customers from, or developing new product might be a matter of keeping the customers that you have. So you ultimately have ways of designing some new products. Now the textbook will have a very structured way and process of doing the new product development. Okay, that's very good, and that's almost this ongoing process. But one of the things I like to do is suggest that you ask yourself periodically the 2 questions. At least right now, 2 questions. Then I'll get into something else. Take a look at what is. In other words, what's out there today. So when you look around where you are right now, your chairs, your tables, your clothing, whatever, the food you're eating, what is out there today? And then say, well, what could be? What could we do to this? So can you make the chair more comfortable? Can you make the table more flexible? Can you make your clothing wear longer? And that's what you want to do. That's much on the product improvement side. There very rarely is a brand new product, something totally new to the world. So we're really looking at how do we take what's existing today and modify it. So when you look at some of the sports drinks, you have Gatorade, you have Powerade, and some of the others. How different really are they? When you look again at some of the water the normal water drinking. Okay, some are filtered a certain amount of times, and but then also some put vitamins in it. So someone then puts some taste in it, some fruit taste. So that's really, it's still water, but it has some of these new improvements. So that's really someone taking what is the regular water and modifying it slightly. And if people will buy it, great. Another way to look at it is ask yourself, what won't people do? So first ask the question, won't. What is it people won't do? And you do it for them. Or ask the people, what can't people do? And you do it for them. And then ask, what is it that people will pay for? And you do it for them. Doesn't have to be all three. So you think about it in your mind. Won'ts, can'ts, and will pay fors. Now this, by the way, fits products and services, and not just for the consumer, but for the companies. So what services or products do companies buy that they won't manufacture, they can't manufacture, or you know what, they'll just pay for it. And when you look at this, it really is a matter of you being in control of new product development and being able to respond very quickly. So when you look at some of the won'ts, the can'ts, and will pay for, look at the products that you've bought. This really applies a lot with services, for example. We say, we had a young man the other day tell us what he did is he found out that in his neighborhood there were a lot of senior citizens and older people, and that they had difficulty carrying out their trash cans to be picked up. That's fine. Well, there were these people fit into some of them fit into the category of they wouldn't do it. Others can't do it because they're so heavy. And then some people, they'll just pay for somebody to take the trash out and bring it back in. Well, this young man made a relative fortune out of it, because what he did is he went to this neighborhood and said, give him $5 a week to take the trash out and bring it back in. And very quickly he had 375 different customers, and he served those customers really on only 2 days. So here he made 375 times $5 a week, and that's about $1,800 times 4 for the month, about $7,600, and that was just working on 2 days. So he took something that people either won't do, can't do, or will pay for, and made a very good opportunity and life for him. And by the way, he ended up selling the company about 13 months later for $88,000. So he did very well. And that's what you're really looking for. So what is it that Starbucks does? Well, some people just won't make coffee. They don't want to buy the machine, they don't want to mess with it, and that's great. They can go to Starbucks, they can get their coffee. What is it that Starbucks can do that people can't do? Well, maybe they're not real good at making coffee, and so they let the baristas do that. And in general, there are some people that just go to Starbucks because they will pay for it. They like the camaraderie, the pleasant surroundings, the music, and whatever. So Starbucks has done a very good job of addressing the won'ts, the can'ts, and the will pay for. So when you look at a laptop, for example, most of us won't make it, most of us can't make it, and we will definitely pay for it because we're looking for those benefits. Tremendous opportunities out there. And that's really when you're looking at new product development, take a look at what you have today and what could change in the future. But the opportunities are when you really look at the won'ts, the can'ts, and will pay for. So for example, when you look at, we have the copy centers with copying machines for Xerox. Great. Well, a company a number of years back in the United States may set up franchises, and what they would do is they would set up copy centers so people could take their documents to be copied. Well, before you knew it, there were 700 or 800 of these stores around the country. They were known as Kinko's. They've since been bought out by FedEx. And all they were doing is they were serving people that won't do their own copying for whatever reason, can't because maybe they don't have the machines or they don't know the technical ways of doing it with software. And also just in general, let them do it themselves. Because someone's core competency is not to be a copy center, but Kinko's or FedEx was. So they've been able to do very well. Kinko's had a very good reputation. FedEx had ultimately bought it. So that's what you're looking for, and to seek out those opportunities. And essentially, when you're looking at the won'ts, the can'ts, and will pay for, is take a look at what exists, what features and benefits are out there in a product, and how can you modify those so that the customers will either continue to buy the product and buy it, maybe more of it, or you'll get new customers. And that's why Coca-Cola continues to to create new beverages. They don't want people to only think of Coca-Cola as just the soft drink company. They've expanded, so almost any time you want a beverage or to de-thirst yourself, you can get soft drinks, you can get orange juice, you can get water. All of those are from Coca-Cola. And what they've done, some of those they've created on their own, others they bought a company and they pull it into the family. And that's really what you're looking for. So new product development may sound like, oh, it's very hard, a lot of research and everything, but a lot of times if you simplify it essentially, go back to the what is and what could be, or look around, ask your customers, ask people that aren't buying the product, what is it why won't they do things, why can't they do things, and what will they pay for? And maybe do that work. And so if you look at, there are a lot of people that clean houses. There are a lot of people that do gardening. It's all because someone either won't do it, can't do it, or you know what, they'll just pay for it. So tremendous opportunity. One last thing about the quality of your product or service, and that obviously plays a role. You might say, well, how good should quality be? Some people say it has to be perfect, 100%. But really what you want to look at is two things. What is it that people will buy repeatedly? Because if they're buying it repeatedly, that level of quality must be good enough for them. But you as a company also have to make sure that you keep the level of quality high enough so you don't have a lot of errors or failures. Because the cost of a failure can put you out of business. Okay? So for example, you may want, look at a car. How good should the brakes be? What level of quality? Basically perfect. And also that they don't just die out, because you can't afford the brakes not working every time. And the cost of a failure is extremely high. So when you're looking at quality, yes, you want it to be very good, but at the same time, as you go higher and higher in quality, it may be more costly. Some would say, stay with what customers will buy repeatedly, and that the competition can't come in and improve on it very quickly and steal all your customers. But also consider the cost of an error or the cost of a failure, and make sure you minimize that. So that'll do it with new product development, and we look forward to it.